Hi, everyone. Welcome to Best Life by You, the podcast dedicated to helping you overcome challenges around nutrition, mindset, relationships, and all of the above. And today we have a very special guest. It is my friend Stacy,
Hello.
who we used to work at a vegan company together, and we had stayed in touch. We're actually filming right here in Colorado, so Fort Collins, Colorado. I came out to visit her, and she's from New York, so we're just gonna go ahead. Stacey, I'd love for people to hear about your experience and how far you've come in your own journey. And I know we have a lot in common being vegan, into the fitness world, holistic health. Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and start explaining like a little bit about your story and how you got here in Fort Collins,
Sure.
Colorado. Yeah.
But yeah, so I am from New York. I spent the first 50 years of my life in
Yeah.
New York.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned 50, I was like, I'm gonna do a life reboot.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been out here, I think the year before, maybe 2 years before, my one dog had DM, which is a neurological disease. And so he only had a certain amount of time to live.
Yeah.
Threw him in the back of my Jeep, took him on a bucket list trip. We did Colorado, Montana, Utah,
I remember
whole
that.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with Colorado, and I was like, that's home. So drove back to New York, which was terrible. I just didn't want to do it, but I did it.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't really
Remember.
sure how much longer he'd have to live, so I waited, and he was hanging on, so we came back out here, and I stayed in Loveland, Colorado, but looked at
Mm-hmm.
16 different apartments between Loveland and Fort Collins.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that is.
kept good notes though, because I was like, oh, that's so overwhelming. But I fell
Yeah.
in love with two different apartment complexes. Fell in love with Fort Collins. I knew Fort Collins over
Yeah.
Loveland. Nothing against Loveland. It's a
Yeah.
nice place. And then I rented this apartment in this complex,
Yeah.
and I drove back to New York to pack
That's
up.
crazy.
Yeah.
So much
Yeah, it was
driving
so
back
much
and forth.
driving. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh. And then I packed my stuff up,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 month, less than a month before I was supposed to move here, Duke died. And I was like, oh my God, now I have to move out to Fort Collins. No job, no friends, nothing. I had nothing.
Huge risk.
Huge
Like a
risk.
huge,
And
yeah.
when you have a dog, you're like, well, at least I have my dog. And I'm like, now I'm totally alone. Um, when I was donating his stuff to the Humane Society, there was this dog who's laying over there now for adoption, and do you want to come on camera? No, well, sometimes he will.
He's sleeping.
He's sleeping. He had a busy day, a lot of stuff going on. He's got a big social calendar. I adopted him.
Yeah.
11 days later, he and I drove out here.
Yeah.
Hopefully got along. We did. And I just started my life over. I didn't know anybody out here.
Yeah.
I did know one person, but I didn't even tell him I was moving here. It's
Yeah.
our friend Robert. We're both
Oh yeah,
brother
yeah, yeah.
cheeks. So, and I don't even think I knew he lived in this town. I knew he lived in Colorado.
Yeah.
But I got a few jobs out here. I started working for the city of Fort Collins, teaching fitness classes. I started working for Fort Collins Country
Yeah.
Club, doing one-on-one clients and fitness classes, and then just started to meet people. This is a very extremely friendly
Yeah.
city.
They
Um,
are super
and
friendly.
and most people are not from Fort Collins, so a lot of us
Mhm.
have similar stories. There are a lot of people who have done a life reboot and they come here.
Yeah.
Um, and it has been hands down the best decision I've ever made. Maybe the second
Yeah.
best. Adopting this guy was first.
But I know you've had a life in New York and things were different, and I know there were challenges in New York, but it's yeah, definitely talk about transition because a lot of people, I mean, they say people go through midlife crisis and a lot of, people use that and just be like, well, whatever, my life sucks. I just have to deal with it. So it's admirable that you're like, no, things happen and I want to go live somewhere where it's going to genuinely make me happy. I don't have a job lined up, but I'm going to take the risk. And I know everybody's circumstances are different, but it's like pretty admirable. So I don't know if you want to talk more about that of like, we could even talk about what other risks you've taken in your life, like, because you're not just I know you're such an adventurous person. You've been a person who's taken risks. So clearly this was not your first big risk that you've taken. So were there any big risks in your life that you've done or steps that you've done that, have prepared you for a moment like this?
I've always been someone who's like, I want to do this and I do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't hold myself back. This was definitely the biggest risk.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of it as a risk
Yeah.
because and which is funny because I was like, well, if you want to do something, you just do it. Because I've always that's just been me. So I
Yeah.
was like, I want to do this, so I just did it. And after the fact, people are like, gosh, you're so brave. How you do it? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to move to Colorado and reboot my life. And people are like, people just don't do that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, they
It's not
don't. You just
common.
just do it. Just
Yeah.
if you're do what you want to do. So I guess small little things in my life saying, okay, I'm going to do this, maybe different careers or leaving careers and starting other careers,
Yeah.
which I know people also don't do. They stay in jobs that they don't like, and if I don't like it, I leave it.
Yeah.
It's just me. I feel like you get one chance and it goes by very quickly. Like I'm 53. I'm like, what happened? How am I so old?
Well, you're not. You're so young, and you're a
Well,
lot more fit than most people in their 20s. So we
I
can talk
mean,
about that
that could
too.
be, but but it's still 53. I mean, you only live
Yeah.
so long no matter how healthy you are.
Yeah.
So it just
Yeah.
it's gone by so quickly. But I talk about this a lot with people is
Yeah.
my goal is to not die with any regret. Like I if I don't want to be like, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, I
Mhm.
wish I had that.
Yep. Yep.
I want to just be like nope, did it all, saw it all. I'm so
Yeah.
happy, I'm so content, no regrets. And one of the reasons I moved out here is because I do love to adventure
Yeah.
and
Very much
we
hiker. Yeah.
Jetson and I, my dog and I, it is a constant adventure. Like we just plan these adventures, even if it's just a day,
Oh yeah.
we do longer
Oh
ones
yeah, I
still.
did not. I'm gonna tell you guys, I've been here since, well, Wednesday was my travel day, Thursday, and it was like Stacy sent me a whole itinerary and she's like, we're doing this, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go with the flow. We're gonna just do it. And every day was a hike or an adventure or something like that. It was never, I mean, no TVs, no relaxing, no sitting down. It's like
We
it
don't do
was
that.
just, yeah, it was like, nope, we're gonna be physically active, we're gonna move
That's
our
right.
bodies, we're gonna be out in
And
nature.
just to see the different,
Yeah.
we were in Breckenridge.
Yeah,
We hiked there, the trees, the foliage is just
gorgeous.
yellows and oranges against the blue sky, and
Yeah.
it's something people should see, and
Oh,
it's good
absolutely.
for the soul. And then
Yeah.
we went to Red Rocks
Mhm.
today.
Oh, it's so gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And then we saw
So
dinosaur
beautiful.
tracks,
Yep.
real dinosaur tracks, not fake ones. Um, we were in Denver at a Veg Fest, which is all outside.
Yeah.
We have over 300, I shouldn't give the secret away, 300 days a year of sunshine here, so everybody is very happy.
It's true.
We're a very happy state,
Yeah.
especially Fort Collins.
We
We're
got
very
two
happy
pizzas today, so
for the right
for the price of
for the
one.
price of one. That made us happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the city I live in is a very outdoors. Most of Colorado is, but Fort Collins, they want everybody to be active and outside. So we
Yeah.
have our paved trails that literally are clear from snow before our roads are. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is insane. I can bike to work, play
Yeah.
bike to work. I won an e-bike from the state of Colorado. They had a
So cool.
lottery.
Yeah.
Um, and I had my third chance I entered and
Yeah.
I got an e-assist bike and so now I commute to work on
Yeah.
my bike and I love it.
Even though she does have cars, like
I have cars.
she has cars,
I
like,
have
but
more than
she,
one car.
yes, but she chooses
Yeah,
to, venture
that's
and
right.
ride her bike
Yes.
any opportunity. So just thinking, I mean, this was a huge risk in your life. Now, thinking of any kind of um challenges, like I'm not saying was there something really hard in your life that you overcame and like how did you overcome it and really, and it could be anything in your life that you think of, that's something that was really hard you knew needed to change and how you overcame that, and it could be from when you were a child, it could be really anything. Yeah.
I think there's just been times where when I was so for college I went to become a paralegal.
Yeah.
So I went to Marist
Yeah,
College,
you got to
great
explain like
college.
all what you've done,
Yeah.
all the different
Well,
repertoires
I've
of
been
what you've
through,
done.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. We'll just start there. So, um, I have my degree and I have certified paralegal, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And
Yeah.
so I started working in some law firms, and I was working for. I loved my boss. It was a great job,
Yeah.
but I was like, there's something I'm not happy. Like I don't want to sit at a computer. I don't even like the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
I had a good boss, so it was a little bit easier to
Yeah.
go in because he was awesome, but um I just didn't like it. And everyone's like, why don't you become a personal trainer? You're always in the gym, you're always helping people, you love to talk about it, you love to study it. And I'm like, why don't I become a personal trainer?
Hmm.
It's a great idea. So I went back,
Yeah.
I actually went to community college, got my certification, fitness
Yeah.
instructor, personal trainer, and I left that job and just I started working in a New York sports club in Ramsey, New Jersey,
Hmm.
which was such a long drive back and forth. And as personal trainers, we know we don't have a 9 to 5. It's a
Yeah.
6 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't drive here anymore.
Yeah. It's a lot.
So then I got a job in a local gym, which was fine, but I really he ended up closing the gym and it was this big thing. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I'm like, I'm just gonna do this on my own. So I
Yeah.
opened up my own fitness studio and I had that for 10 years and it was very successful and it was a big step to just I mean it's completely different.
Yeah.
There's no similarities to paralegal and
Yeah.
running a gym. Like there's nothing. And I was coaching kids. I coached high school level track and cross country. I loved working with
Yeah.
kids. I did run a Parisi Speed School, which is all youth athletes for a little while, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of fun. Changing that career and taking that chance of like I went to college for this,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to use any of it. And then
That was
completely,
me.
yeah, and
That
a
was
lot of
me.
people just
Yeah. Well,
sometimes,
we spoke about it at
yeah,
18 years old, 22. I spoke about it on the Sawyer's podcast too, because Sawyer was a
Sawyer
lawyer
did it
and
too.
he
Yeah,
left to go do personal
that's
training.
right.
It's like before 22, you're supposed to make this huge decision of what you want to do with your
Yeah.
life. Let's go ahead and get in debt. Let's go ahead and do this. It's
Hmm.
like this mindset. But it's very admirable what you've done. You can continue like
Yeah, no, I mean that
while
was
you're
the
here.
biggest thing. And then
Yeah.
um that was like probably the second biggest risk, I guess,
Yeah.
just by leaving one career for the other. But my philosophy is always like, what's the worst that can
Yeah.
happen? Like, I still have my paralegal certification. If I wanted to go back to
Yeah.
doing
It's
that,
like me. I still have my
right,
teaching
I
certification. Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do it unless it was for some type of animal rights. But
Yeah.
like, there are some of those jobs where I'm like, well, I probably would enjoy that part-time, not full-time, because I have to adventure.
Yeah.
Um, so that's pretty cool. And one of the coolest things about becoming a personal trainer, of course, is it keeps you in shape
Yeah.
because so it's
Yep.
like,
That's why I love it.
yeah, it's kind
I
of
like
like
I get to be in shape all the
it's
time.
kind of a win-win. And I love watching my clients
Yeah.
pro
Thrive and
I love it.
yeah.
There's just a lot of benefits of that job, but
Yeah.
it's also kind of neat because I'm like, all right, well, I want to stay in shape and I want to know what they're going to
Yeah.
feel like. So so anyway, the what's the worst could happen? And the same thing with moving out here. I was like, well, if I don't like it, I'll just move back or somewhere else and find somewhere
Yeah.
I like. Like
Stuck.
I'm not stuck. I still
Yeah.
have the right to move to somewhere else.
Hmm.
I just
Love it.
I happen to love it. But I
Yeah.
have had people, friends, a lot of them back in New York, message me and they're like, I'm so stuck. I don't like my life. How did you do this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish I had the magic words to tell you. I said, I just did it. Like I
Yeah.
just,
I think because I don't know what your friends have. I think when you get like certain people, they're in a marriage or they have kids and they're like, well, now I really can't do anything because now I'm stuck because of that. And it's
yeah,
like,
we're a little
I
bit
think,
older. So our kids,
yeah,
their kids are out of the house and these
that's
people are stuck.
so there's
And a
differences of
lot of them are
like,
divorced and they
yeah,
they have nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, if they have little kids or they're
Might
married,
be
whatever, maybe
different. Yeah.
different. But these are people who are the same age as me or older,
Yeah.
and they could. They're
Yeah.
just afraid to
Take the step.
take the step and just try it and just
Yeah.
do it. Um, yeah, which is I'm sad. I wish that they would just try it and make
Yeah.
themselves happy because they'll have that regret of
Yeah.
not.
Or at least like one small step, right? Like if it's
Hmm.
okay,
Right,
maybe I can't fully move here or I'm not ready to move yet. Maybe it's spending a month
right.
there. Okay, let me spend a month here
Mhm.
and try it. And so that's, it might be something. But there was a girl I met at a Lifetime and um she had breast cancer and gone through it and is a survivor. And her husband, she had come to class and she's like, yeah, with everything I've been through, my husband, me and my young child are moving to London. She's like, it's been a dream of mine. We're all moving to
Love
London
it.
for a year.
Right.
And she's like, we're gonna see how it works. Going to London for a year. And I was like, what did you do with your house? She's like, packed it up, whatever we have it. She's like, renting a place in London and we're gonna go live our best life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
see that? Like, it's very commendable. And she unfortunately went through that cancer
Mm,
diagnosis to
to push
have a
her to
wake up
that,
call
yeah.
that pushed her. But she was like, nope, I've always wanted to, so why not? She's like, my girl,
Yeah.
we're gonna find a school out there, we're gonna do this.
That's right.
And it's like, so there are people that do have kids and a
They
husband
still
and
can
they
do
still
it.
make it work.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd love to talk because one of the biggest things we have in common is being vegan. So I'd love to talk about like what your or pivot to that of like what inspired you. How did you even find out? Because I know you're vegetarian first. Like,
Hmm.
what was the moment for you where you went vegetarian and like what that process was like? Because I know it was different. I mean, it's been even different the past 10 years. So like,
Definitely
what
different in
that
the
process?
80s.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say. So
it was 1982.
yeah,
So there's no internet, there's no, and I was uh eating a hamburger and I looked at it and started to cry and put it down and I was like, "Oh my God, a cow died for me." I remember thinking that and I was like, "Never again will an animal die for me." And that was it. Um,
hmm,
but of course, dairy and eggs, I was like, "But that's not killing any animals because there really wasn't any information out there
yeah,
at all and we
yeah.
didn't know." So I continued that, and then the movie Earthlings.com came out. I didn't watch it. I watched just the trailer, and they showed the dairy cows and the little babies being shredded for eggs, and I was like, okay, we're done. Never again. And that was it. I did finish. I had dairy cheese in the fridge. I finished
But
that up
yeah,
just because it was already there.
yeah,
But that was it. I have not since then had any desire, never will. I went vegan that day, and I was
yeah,
like, that's it. So, it's always been for ethical reasons, but the beauty of it is the health aspect
I
of
know
it.
that's the other
It's
huge
amazing,
part.
and I didn't know that this was going to be such a healthy lifestyle. I didn't care about that. I was like, I don't care. I'm just saving animals. That's all I cared about.
Yeah,
But I am like, I feel so great. So when I went from vegetarian to vegan, I was running very long races. I've done 50Ks and so ultra
yeah,
marathons.
you need to share some of that, what you
Yeah.
do, because that's very impressive. So throw
So,
those out there. Go ahead, throw them out.
but so when I think at that time the longest I was running was maybe half marathons, but I was doing
Yeah,
a lot of the not the Spartans because that wasn't big yet, but I was doing a lot of those obstacle races
yeah,
and winning them and stuff, and which was awesome. But when I was vegetarian, I still could feel like soreness the next day, inflammation, all of these things. And then
yeah,
when I went vegan, and I remember I did a 50K, and it ended up being longer. It was 36 miles. And I went from half marathon to 36 miles. I didn't even do a marathon. I've never done a marathon. I've never done a marathon. I jumped up.
before that or after that?
Yeah, still have not. Jumped
That's
up, which is
26.1. Yeah,
anyway. And I remember like the next day I was like, oh man, I'm gonna wake up so sore tomorrow. The next day I woke up, I'm like, I'm fully recovered. I was like, oh, I get it. It's the food.
yeah.
It is,
That's why so many endurance athletes, though, like a lot of runners,
yeah.
you will see are vegan.
Hmm.
They're That's the
Yeah,
other thing, part of
it's
it.
there's no recovery.
Yeah.
I don't have, and again, I'm 53 and I'm like I
No back pain, no soreness, where people are like, wait till you hit 40, wait till you hit 50,
you
and it's
know,
like,
people warn me and I'm like I don't know when that's gonna happen because it
yeah,
still hasn't. And part of it is I don't overtrain for anything. That's
yeah,
definitely a huge part because
yeah.
I do
Oh,
so
I've stopped
many
doing that too. I don't overtrain anymore.
I have do so many different things too, right? I run, I
Yeah,
hike, I bike ride, gym, this, all these different things,
so
up and down the
active. Yeah,
steps, and so there's all these different things I do. So they're not like just running 7 days a week, but um, the the diet is so huge. It's huge. It's
yeah.
also like um weight gain. Like it just doesn't happen. Like I don't.
I know you've said like you're
Yeah,
like even post menopause, whatnot.
right.
You were like, oh my gosh, I'm losing weight. Like I'm doing this. Yeah,
And I eat a lot of calories. Like
yeah,
it's and I get it. I know I'm very active, but I
yeah,
mean, I'm not crazy. I guess for some people it'd be crazy active, but there's people who are more active than I am,
yeah.
that's for
And there
sure.
are people who are mothers who are like this. People who are like it's really a choice you make. Like a lot of people just fall under this excuse category of like, oh, I'm now 40, you know, back
Oh,
pain.
so much so.
Oh, I'm 50, I'm expecting. So when I turned 30, people are like, wait for the back pain. I'm like, and then I literally was like, I'm not gonna have it. Thank you though.
Yeah,
Like, I
but thanks for
appreciate
the
it.
I know.
Like,
I had one person, she was this story, I'm not going to mention names, I don't want to
yeah,
embarrass anyone, but she was like, oh man, wait till you turn my age, you're going to have this and this and this and this. And I'm like, how old are you? And I forgot how old she
yeah,
was. Maybe she was 45. She's like, 45. And I'm like, I'm 49. I'm
yeah,
older than you, something like that. I was
yeah,
4 or 5 years older
yeah,
than her, maybe even more. And she was like, like she
yeah,
didn't know what to do. And I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I don't, you're, she thought I was younger than her,
yeah.
and I was not. So
Well,
it's,
it's also, I think that we can talk about that. A lot of people, like I tend to say plant-based, and plant-based is a food, like the diet, like plant-based diet of what you eat. Vegan is encompassed in a lot of things if you wanted to talk about like what vegan actually
yeah.
means, so people
So
can kind of understand
that's
the
right.
difference.
I say I'm vegan because I did it for
Yeah,
the animals. It
yeah.
is ethical reasons, 100%.
You don't wear
This,
leather, you
that's right.
don't,
The
yeah,
soap I use is has no animal products in it. It's not tested on animals. The hairspray I
yeah.
use, every product in this apartment is vegan. Plant-based, and it's funny because like a lot of these celebrities are like, I went vegan, and they never went vegan. They were plant-based, and
Yeah.
they obviously
The
do that.
diet, and
Right,
that's the
because it's
other
the
thing.
diet.
Yeah.
But, and I was just telling somebody this earlier, you can be vegan and eat Oreos and beer only,
And
and
be very
be
unhealthy.
very
Yeah.
unhealthy and vegan. So one of the funniest things, one of my friends and I joke around about is he always says like it's when someone finds out you're vegan, you're either the healthiest person in the world or the unhealthiest person in the world.
Hmm.
Because some
It's
people are
like the
like,
spectrum. There's no in between.
there's no like
No in
so
between.
they're like some people are like, man, you're just so healthy for it. And then you have the other people who say, oh, you don't get enough protein, so you must be frail
Or
and weak
vitamins,
and
the
vitamins.
vitamin
Yeah.
thing. I'm like, oh my
So
goodness, you can get that all from
right,
plant food.
from plants. So
Except B12. B12 is the only thing.
plant-based is so basically plant-based is you're not eating meat or dairy.
Yeah.
But
Or
you or
eggs.
eggs,
Yeah.
but you may be that's Jetson in case anybody hears
Dog.
him.
He's saying hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
He's vegan as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Talk about that.
yeah, so but they plant-based people may still wear a leather coat.
Hmm.
I some of my clients who've gone plant-based talk about that. They're like, I just bought these new
Well,
boots.
that's the
And
thing. Like I like full transparency. Like there is definitely things I have that I'm not 100% like vegan. Like I think I have these Uggs from like 10 years ago that I
well,
like.
but you
That's the
still
thing.
have
Like,
them.
yeah.
That's still vegan.
Like,
That's I mean, there's some extreme vegans who are like, you should throw them all out. Well,
yeah.
that's like when I
Yeah.
became vegan, but I still had dairy
Yeah.
cheese in the fridge.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna throw it out because then that's even worse. Like it's
Yeah.
already
I
bought.
think and it needs to be like compassion. And this was something for everybody listening. Like I was talking to Stacy yesterday about it, of being like, very compassionate. Like I believe as a person, one of my biggest values is be compassionate and non-judgmental. And it's like in such a society today where there's such a divide of beliefs, you want to sit and really take time to educate and also have patience with the person. Like
Right.
you can't just expect them to overnight change. And some people like Stacy had a party the other night and there was a guy there and he had no idea about like he knew of the term vegan, he knew of the term plant-based, but he had no idea what it actually meant. And he's like, and we had to educate, we were teaching him, he's like, yeah, but I thought, soy was bad for you. And we're like, oh, but it has, phytoestrogens in it, which is cancer protective,
Yeah.
where dairy actually has estrogen in it. So, and that is the thing that's going to metastasize cells in your body.
Hmm.
So that's why a lot of people are like, why is breast cancer so high? And you're like, well, look at what's being introduced more and more into the world. And there's actual studies and proven evidence of like these biomarkers of everything. And you probably as well, but I'm such a person who's like, I need research, I need facts. Even when I went plant-based, that's why Dr. Greger was a great resource for me
Hmm.
because he is so
Hmm.
focused on evidence. And me as a person who did work in graduate school where I had to do research and I was, in the research department, I had to make sure everything was proper, everything was done correctly. And so reading his book was like a breath of fresh air. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything is backed by science.
Yeah.
It's not just an idea
Right.
that is like, hey, this is an idea over the past like 2 years this happened. It's like he has taken studies over years and years and but everybody's always going to have an opinion, but it's like down to the education. And if you try it correctly with somebody who is knowledgeable on how to do it, like
Hmm.
Stacy does it with her clients, I do it with my clients,
Right.
like guide you through how to properly do it, you're going to feel well. A
Yep.
lot of people are like, oh, I tried and I felt horrible. It's probably because you went from 0 grams of fiber to 1 million grams of fiber because now you're eating tons of plants. And like, yeah, no shit, you're gonna be bloated and have gas every
Right.
day, be uncomfortable. So it's you also want that guidance of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And I think a lot of people think we eat like the Beyond and Impossible burgers every single day. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, but that's expensive. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's another big
yeah,
thing. And you're a person to talk about like what is your day-to-day
yeah.
look like truly because
Well, and that's the
very
thing, like
affordable, very, very
I
sustainable.
it's not that I don't eat those things. I usually have it in my
Yeah.
freezer, but it's usually once a week I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have an
Yeah.
Impossible Burger
Which is
today.
most of the country
Right.
as well, having
Exactly.
their treat meal
That's
on
right.
a certain day.
But I eat, well, it's always people laugh at me because my breakfast is always grape nuts.
But it's good. Like literally
It's
tell them the bowl that you've made
yeah,
for
so I have
breakfast.
the grape nuts and then I have bananas, cinnamon,
Raisins.
raisins, and then sometimes berries also, and then oat milk, unsweetened oat milk. And
Yeah.
then but I mean it's a nice heavy breakfast and it holds you through. Like it's
Hmm.
such great, there's such great calories. And I just love the taste of it. I've loved grape nuts ever since I was a
Yeah,
kid.
because I
So
came 2.5 years ago and she had grape nuts
yeah,
and it's still the same. I was
it's
like,
the
has it
same thing.
changed? And
Yeah,
she's
no.
like, nope, this is
That
my
that'll never
breakfast.
change. And I think there's only four ingredients in grape nuts. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like there's no
There,
sugar,
yeah.
there's no added sugar.
It's fiber, it's great, it's filling.
It's very clean. Like it's
Yeah.
probably the only cereal that's still a clean cereal. But I don't think they've ever changed the recipe
Yeah.
since 19, who knows
And
what.
hopefully they don't.
I hope they better
Hopefully
not.
they
I'll have
don't.
to, I don't know
Because
what
they
I'll
have
do.
grape nut flakes, but I think even
Right.
like you can continue to explain like a day for you because I think that you being an athlete, a lot of people are like, well, how are you a runner? How do you do all that?
Right.
Like, what is your day to day? Because a lot of people are like, well, do you eat salads every day? Like, do you eat this? And so it's always interesting, like, to hear about what your day to day is, or
Right. So I do
yeah,
that for breakfast. And then throughout the day, I snack. I bought a big cutting board and I have it out. And I love to have that because I'll put like apples and
yeah,
orange. I usually put a lot of fruit and nuts on it
yeah,
if I'm home to
yeah,
like snack on because if it's sitting out, you're gonna eat it. So I always do
mm,
that. And I really love fruit and nuts, like as
yeah,
a treat. I'm like all day long, like so
yeah.
many flavors
And you're so energized
and so
all the
energized.
time.
And it's, the fruit is so great because it's seasonal. Because sometimes
Yeah.
it's melon, sometimes it's apples. Sometimes little known secret here in Colorado is our peaches are better than Georgia's.
Oh,
We have
I've not had a peach yet here.
well, they're out of season. Palisade peaches. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
didn't realize. I think the only sadness I have in my life right now is when Palisade peaches are out of season. And I didn't realize that would happen to moving out here because I literally
It's
one day was
funny.
like really upset because Palisade peaches are out of season. I was like, I didn't realize I was gonna have this depression, peach depression. Anyway, then they reintroduced
Yeah.
next summer, and I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's like snacky stuff during the day. Even
Yeah.
sometimes at night, like in the evening after dinner, I'm like, I'm gonna have this apple, and I
Yeah.
cut up an apple with some walnuts. But so lunch, I like to have something heavier.
Yeah.
I'll either have pasta or rice and vegetables, or sometimes a sandwich.
Yeah.
Definitely more calories, and then which is good. And then it takes me throughout the rest of the day, and then dinner. I mean, I just take a whole bunch of vegetables and cook them, and I
So all
just love.
carbs. Like we're hearing that it's all
Yeah.
carbs. Like she's not fixated on protein, she's not fixated on fat. She's and she has so much energy to go throughout the day, and especially as a runner, as an endurance athlete.
Hmm.
And what you do, like she's done backpacking trips, she's done so many things like and before a race, what is your typical meal? I know you have maple syrup packets.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so what does that
So
look
the
like?
night before I do eat heavier, I will have pasta and vegetables, like
Yeah,
big bowl of that, and sometimes salad because I like to have
yeah,
the greens in there.
yeah,
Peas is a big thing. I love peas
yeah,
before the
I
night
do too.
before, yeah. So pasta and peas, and then maybe some
Yeah,
sun-dried tomatoes or regular tomatoes, and then I literally the morning of it's the same breakfast. It's the grape nuts, but
yeah,
making sure it's 2 hours before any race, and then I can't eat while I'm running. My system does not like it,
yeah,
and everybody's a little different. But I found Untapped is a brand that has maple syrup packets.
yeah.
So those I have. That's great instant energy.
Hmm.
I can have sometimes I'll do like a date with some coconut on it,
Yeah,
which seems to do well. And I can do like a potato slice. And then I mean after a 50K
yeah,
I've used so I have just
everything.
I have no I'm not I drink Tailwind which has calories in it, which is okay, and then my electrolytes. But
Yeah,
after a 50K I usually don't eat so healthy
yeah.
because I need
Well, you're
sugar. I
celebrating.
want, well,
Yeah,
it's not even that. I want the sugar and salt. So usually I have one sleeve of cookies
yeah,
and then a bag of vegan jerky for the
yeah,
salt. So it's just to replenish.
yeah.
That's just right after. But leading up, it's just very healthy and a lot of nutrients and
Good.
everything going in. A lot of water and electrolytes are so important. I drink Element as my biggest
Yeah,
electrolyte now, thanks to Rich Roll because
yeah,
he gave a a code where you can get a free thing if I'm not like, oh, it's free. Let me try it. I'm like,
yeah.
these are awesome. Um,
Very popular.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've made my new drink is they have the lemonade one. I make half of that and then I make sun tea out on my balcony and I make an Arnold Palmer drink
Uh,
with Element and decaf
oh wow,
tea
that
and it
sounds
is
good.
so good. But yeah, so but I've never counted calories. I've never counted carbs. I've never counted protein. I've never counted fats. I just eat
Yeah,
just such a big variety. It's always, I love pasta and rice. But I love to have it with vegetables. Like I just
yeah,
love that. I do love things like falafels, so I like the chickpeas. And then sometimes I'll just make like a soft taco of just refried beans, some salsa,
yeah,
some avocado, and then corn,
yeah.
things like that.
But
It's
it's
simple.
I think just to harp on everything you've explained so far, like just listening to the nutrition, it's still so clean and healthy. It's like
Yeah.
minimally processed because there's
Right.
different levels. There's like ultra processed, there's and then minimally processed,
Hmm.
and all the things you're eating are very minimally processed, and your
Right.
body's like nutrients, this is great. This is,
Right.
you're
And
taking it all in.
well, and I think a lot of people don't understand that our bodies, um, when you put something foreign in it, like a processed food, the body is confused. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
As opposed to an apple. Like every part of an apple, the body knows what to do and where it should go and
Yeah.
what it's supposed to be used for, and then gets rid of the stuff that it doesn't
Yeah.
need. And processed food, even meat, like our bodies are not made to digest meat. So the body's like, I don't know what to do with this. And that's why so many people are like, oh, I feel so crappy after this. And dairy, especially, people get this big bloated belly from it.
Yeah.
And it's because we're not supposed to be digesting it. Like our bodies don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Whereas these other foods that have like the beauty of nature is it gives us everything we need. Like
Yep.
nature's like, hey,
Healing. That's the
the
healing property
healing
too. It's like,
properties. I mean, it is
yeah, a lot
nuts.
of
Like
that.
it's so crazy how great all of these foods are. And
Yeah.
when people say, well, what do you eat as a vegan? And I'm like, it's easier to explain what I don't eat
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, aren't you so limited? I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not limited.
But
First of
it's
all,
so true.
it's so
Yeah.
true. If I want to have vegan junk food, which I do enjoy,
Yeah.
there's
Me too. Me too.
everything that you
Very
have,
much so.
everything that you have as a meat eater, they make vegan versions of.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of stuff already is like potato chips. I love potato chips.
I
They're
love
most of them are
fries.
vegan. Fries,
Love French
love
fries.
them. I mean, so we have all these different foods that are like people are. I remember I had one client, she's like, I don't think I could ever eat anything vegan. And I'm like, have you ever had an apple? And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah. I'm like, have you ever had a
Oh
banana?
yeah, I got
She's
that
like,
too.
yeah. I'm like, those are vegan foods. She's like, they are? She was like, I thought it was all the fake chicken and fake. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no,
No.
beans and nuts and peanuts and
Yeah, I think
lentils
that
and
the thing that people get so scared of is like the ingredient list. They're like, but a Beyond Burger has so many ingredients and meat is just meat. And it's like, how do you navigate a conversation? Because I can go, I mean, I'm sure I've explained this before, but like, how do you navigate that if somebody's like, what about the ingredient list though on a plant-based burger? Like, how would you go about that?
so normally I say to them, can I come to your kitchen and look at everything in your kitchen and look at all the ingredients and everything you're
Yeah,
eating? And they're like, no,
yeah,
I don't want you to. And I'm like, I have a feeling that the ingredients in a Beyond Burger are probably a lot cleaner
yeah,
than all the other stuff in your
yeah.
kitchen. These parents are feeding their kids these frozen pizzas and these
I
frozen
know.
chicken nuggets thinking that's healthier than cooking them a plant-based meal. And I'm like, yeah, no.
It's the well, I mean, there's some plant-based foods with saturated fat. We know this, but you look at a lot of trans fat, which is the ultra processed food,
Mhm.
which we want to minimize, but the dietary cholesterol, like that is only
Uh-huh.
found in animal food.
Animals, right.
Only animal food.
We don't
And
eat
there's
cholesterol.
no fiber in animal food.
No,
So it's like the fiber is needed to help clear out the body.
right.
And so then so many people are eating these foods that are like, oh, I'm low energy, low this. And it's like, and I can go on and on and explaining why that happens in the body. But it's so, yeah, a Beyond Burger or plant-based burger is going to be a healthier choice.
Mhm.
It's also going to digest or go through your digestive tract a lot quicker.
That's right.
And you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, this ingredient list, because then there's a funny thing out there that has a really long list of a banana. What a banana, like if you break down the science of the
Right,
banana,
right, right.
people are like, oh, would you eat that? Like that whole list? And they're like, no, it has so many ingredients. And then you flip it over and it's a banana. They're like, well, that's actually all the components of a banana.
Right.
Like it's people get very scared very quick looking
Yeah.
at nutrition labels, and I try to debunk that too. I'm like, okay, well, let's actually look together at it. We want to avoid the added sugar, but like a lot of people will see sugar and be like, oh my gosh, sugar's so bad. And it's like,
I know.
well, it's no, because carbs are sugar.
Right.
So it's like, yeah,
Exactly. And then I have clients who they go in and look at the label and
mm-hmm,
all they look at is to make sure it has a lot of protein.
mm-hmm,
And I'm like, did you look at, first of all, anything else? I said, but do you look at the ingredients
yep,
list? And they're like, no. And I'm like, go home and look at the ingredient list of
yeah.
that. I'm like, yeah, you're getting some protein. Awesome. But you're also getting
All this other
so
stuff
many
you don't
bad
need.
things that are so bad for you. Like, it's so bad. And they're like,
Yeah,
really? Because somewhere, well, we know where, but we know why. Somewhere along the line, Americans were taught that you just protein, protein. And I joke with myself as I'm walking through the grocery store and I look at every package and it's even some of the vegan food, 6 grams of protein, 12 grams. They put it on the package
yeah,
because
that
the
grabs the attention of the
well,
shopper.
the shoppers have been brainwashed into thinking that's what we have to look at.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, if you actually turn the package around and see what you're feeding yourself and your family, there's sometimes it's like these chemicals, and I'm like, would you take this glass and fill it with this many, this bad chemical here
yeah,
and say, like, here, kid, you drink it. no, I
Yeah.
never give my kid that. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, well, you're doing it with this product.
Yeah.
And
It's
they're
just you're
like,
focused on the protein. It's
but it's
like,
got protein. I'm
yeah.
like, that's awesome, but it also has this
Hmm.
horrible stuff. But we've become so fixated on it. And I mean, listen, the meat industry did an awesome job telling people they had to have all this
Yep.
protein, and that is basically what happened. It's like
But where's it coming from?
when, well, it's also like how people are like, well, if you don't drink cow's milk, you will have weak bones.
Yeah.
Actually, dairy milk depletes the calcium from our bones.
Yep.
Our country has
Everything,
such
a
a
lot of
high
things.
osteoporosis rate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so we have one of the highest osteoporosis rates in the world, and we drink the most cow's milk.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but there's
So,
been studies that have
oh
been
yeah.
that have show the exact correlation to it.
Mhm.
But then like people on this raw milk trend too, being like raw milk's so good, and even the doctors are coming out being like please stop, and they're not even plant-based
That's
doctors or
right.
anything.
Yeah.
They're just like please stop, no pasteurized, like you're gonna drink it pasteurized. Stop with the raw milk stuff. Stop with that. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna
It's
do it, like and it drives me. I mean, you see every single trend coming out. I mean it's good you're not on media as much watching that or listening, but even being in the nutrition world, I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, can we go back to basics? Like,
yes.
literal basics
It,
of whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits,
yeah.
vegetables. Line up your plate like that and then add from
That's it.
there. Then go ahead, add from there. If
Right.
you want to add from there, just have that. But look, like someone like you are so active, very fit, no injuries no nothing, which also I want to talk about your workout, how you do not warm up, which is so no warm up, no cool down because she's the first person I've met who have never, and please tell everybody too about your history in a second with like teaching classes, but just like very basics, like go back to the basics, but like even for my coaching, I think what I am doing is helping people unlearn learned behaviors. And I do have people track because I want them to be aware of what they're actually eating and consuming and understanding that. And I'll provide them a guide, but a lot of them are like, that's really hard for me to just switch over
Mm,
to this kind of
right.
thing. I need steps.
Yeah.
And so it's
Which is
okay, I
fine.
meet you where you were at.
Right.
Let's get through these steps to get you to this point. But I think it's a lot of people just want this like fit in. How do I fit in?
Hmm.
You know, it's very hard. I mean, me being in New York, being plant-based is already hard, but I have a good community and I'm very confident in what I do and how I am. But there's a lot of people who might be afraid to be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be plant-based. Like even me
Right.
not really being a drinker, I'll have a drink here and there, but then there are people who don't drink and they're like, well, I feel like I won't be invited places or I can't do this because I'm not a drinker. And I know that correlates as well with people who are
Right.
plant-based. They're like, well, they're not going to invite me because I'm plant-based or they're not going to do this. So, like, we could talk about that, navigating that. But then also, I do want to pivot to talking about your classes and what you do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you
Mhm.
wanted to touch any more on the vegan argument and how people,
Well,
any
I mean,
advice or guidance.
I just think that like with me being vegetarian and vegan, like I was bullied in high school and about not eating animals, but I knew I was right, so I didn't really care. And the
You
same
had
thing
your
with
why,
yeah,
pretty much.
and like I just knew I was right. I'm like I don't really care if I have no friends. I'm not I there's not anything in the world that would stop me from I don't want animals to be suffering. Like
Yeah.
the thought of
That's
it,
very important to you.
it's
Yeah.
the probably the most important thing out of everything. I'm not paying someone to hurt an animal, to torture an animal, to kill an animal. I'm just not doing it. I
Yeah.
don't need to. Like it's why would you do it if you don't need to? And from day one, that's how I thought. And I am so strong, I feel so strongly about it. Even as a young kid, I was like,
Yeah.
this is what I do. And I've had people been such jerks about it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm right and you're wrong. And I knew it.
Because I think people know, like, just even, yeah, I don't want to go down, I guess, this path too much, but like, even racism, people know what racism is, knows what that definition is.
Hmm.
So it's like, even abuse, we know what abuse is.
Right.
And then you switch that to animal abuse, but
Hmm.
people do not want to, they
No,
don't want to
it
say
only
that
is
is.
puppies and
Yeah,
kittens are the only ones
yeah,
we don't want them to be
yeah.
abused.
So
Everything else is
it's very hard, but I think that's the hard. thing. A lot of people will be like, well, I'm addicted to cheese. Well, duh, because there's casein in it. So you're going to be naturally addicted to that protein. But it's a mind over matter thing. And it's like at the end of the day, how like if you had someone you love the most, how would you want them to feel? Would you want them to be at their optimal peak, feeling the best they can possibly feel? Do you want them, energized all the time, fighting off disease? And
Right.
like that's what I would want for the person I love
I
the
know.
most. I'd want them to do that. So what are the changes that need to happen? And it's nutrition. I mean, lifestyle, of course. You don't want to be smoking, not drinking all the time, doing drugs.
Right.
You want to be moving your body. So like those are little steps that will help, but also nutrition is such a huge part of
It
it.
is. And I see it a lot with parents and kids, and they're just feeding these kids. Like there's I look in grocery carts, other grocery carts, I'm like, oh gosh, that poor kid. Like they're not
Well, the
eating one
kids
bit of
don't
meat. The
know.
kids don't know, but the kids don't have a choice. And
Yeah.
the parents are just filling their carts with this junk. And I'm like, go to the produce aisle. Like go
Get some veggies, get some fruits,
like
get
it
some,
should be
yeah.
most of that stuff and then whatever
Shop around
else.
the
But
perimeters, not
yeah.
in between the aisles.
So it's hard to see. But yeah, I just, new vegans, I'm like, listen, if you like anything else, like if you are against child abuse and then like you meet someone who likes to abuse children for some reason, you're not going to be like, well, I like to hang out with them, so I'm going to start beating up kids too. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're right and stick with it. And
Yeah.
there find friends who are either can empathize and be compassionate with you, and when you're together you teach them and this and that, or find vegan friends. I mean, we're out here, they're everywhere. It's easier now with social media to meet
Hmm.
people. I have this group of vegan friends here, which you've met a lot of them, not all of them,
Yeah.
but uh we do events together, we have holidays together,
Yeah.
it's like a second family. When I lived in New York, I for holidays I went to an animal
Oh,
sanctuary.
yeah.
It's just finding these people and they're there. It's just,
Hmm.
you got to branch out. And some of my friends who weren't vegan now are, and it's
Yeah.
great because it's fun to Justin's making noises, he's tired. It's just fun to do things together. I was telling Julia, one of my friends, Karen, today, she was like, let's do a junk food vegan night and get
Yeah.
some deep fried vegan stuff from this one cookbook. And I'm like, let's do it while we rule it. We'll make onion rings
Yeah.
and all these bad things. But it's kind of fun because now we're gonna do it with a couple of our other girlfriends, and like we're gonna do this junk vegan
Yeah.
food night. But it's how cool is that, like to have people you can do that with.
Yeah.
So I didn't know these people when I moved here, and now I have all these
Good friends.
friends, good friends, and we just it's great. It's great.
Yeah. And it's more commonality. It's like it's people who are in the fitness world will find people who are in the fitness world, make
Right.
friends. People who are in the vegan community will find other vegans, make that community. People in
Mhm.
the Christian community, like myself, I have made a community of that. Like there's so many different ways you can make communities, and they don't all have to blend. Like they do not have to blend with one another. Like your faith, your politics, and everything, they do not have to all fit in
No,
one box together.
because you're
Like
not going to find
that's
anyone that
no,
you're
a
a
hundred
hundred percent
percent aligned
aligned with.
with.
No,
Like
it just doesn't happen.
that's the thing. Like you and
So,
I have like the vegan and fitness in common, but like maybe not our belief system. And like
right,
that's it. Or like politics may be different. Like there's so many different avenues, but it does not mean we can't respect each other, can't have
right,
friendships, can't talk about
exactly.
it. Like I think a lot of people are like, no, if I have a friend, it has to be in this category, in
That's
this, it
right.
has to be this checkbox, this checkbox. And it's like with friendships, it does not need, I mean, relationships or romantic relationships will look a little different, but like
But still,
those
even
like
with them,
friendships,
you're not going to find someone you're 100% aligned with.
yeah, with
There's
every
there
single
has to
belief is
be
not going to be
No, there has to
aligned.
be some core things.
Yeah,
Fine. Like I wouldn't want to be with someone who wasn't at least pescatarian,
yeah,
because then you can bring them
yeah,
over. Pescatarian or vegetarian, but we may have differences in some of the other things,
yeah.
whatever it may be.
I think that's the other part is like the good feeling you get with it when you're again led correctly on how to properly
Right.
do it. Like
That's right.
you could be like, hey, go be vegan, bye, here's a book, and you're like, okay, cool, Oreos for breakfast, Oreos for lunch, or like,
That's right. I
you
had
know,
for my clients one time, we did a vegan cheese party.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, everybody either bring a different kind or make a different kind. I had my
Yeah.
uncle's book. And we did. We had this big cheese party, and everyone was like, oh my God, because that's usually the biggest thing is cheese. Because
Yeah. Oh, it
milk is
is.
easy because there's cashew milk and there's oat milk,
There's
there's
so
soy
many.
milk, the
Yeah. That
non-dairy
was my
ones.
biggest transition. And I did taste, I was took a day or a couple days and I was like, ooh, there's a, and then when I did taste regular milk, I was like, just a different
Yeah,
taste. But
exactly. And then the cheese, well, let me just tell you, like back in the day, it was horrible, but now it's so good. Oh my gosh. There's so many. And so it was fun to do this vegan cheese party because we
yeah.
got to take, we had cheese fondue, we had like everything.
Yeah.
It was the mozzarella, every kind, cheddar, and people were trying it all. I'm like, oh God, this stuff is actually really good. So
Hmm.
it's kind of a fun way to do it is to experiment like that. And there's some out there that still I'm like, oh gosh, I hope people don't try this for the
Yeah.
first time. It's
Oh, I
bad.
know. There's some people who are like, I can't do the vegan cheese. I'm like, which one did you
I
try?
know, that's the
Like,
thing. I'm
tell me
like,
which one
I know. And
first.
I'm like, here, try these. They give them a list of like, try these, you'll love
Uh,
them, I promise.
it's true. Yeah.
Uh,
Some people are so set and they're like, no, I will not
I
have
know.
this. So they'll have a dish and then they're like, never again will I have something with like lentils in it because that's
I
disgusting. I'm
know.
like, oh,
Same
okay.
thing with tofu. People have
Yeah.
tried
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I've had it in restaurants. I'm like, oh my God, this is so gross.
Horrible.
I'm like, who
Horrible. Yeah.
cooked this? I'm like, let me go in the kitchen and show the chef
That
how it's done. Because I'm like, this is no wonder people don't like it. It's
I
so
went to
gross.
a restaurant, Asian restaurant, and
Yeah.
they
No.
and it was like they took the tofu out of the container, cut it up, and put it on my plate.
And it
And I was
was,
like,
yeah,
this is
and it's not even like
disgusting.
the, at least if it's the super firm, that at least
Yeah.
tastes half
No,
the
it
difference.
wasn't. It
Like
was
the,
like the little
me too. I had it one time at a Japanese restaurant. I'm like, oh my God.
it was
I'm
awful.
like, I can't eat
Eat it.
this. And I'm like, oh, this is why people hate tofu.
Yeah.
I get
Yep.
it. This is
Yeah.
so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, but anything you have cooked right or the right brand, it's makes a big
yeah.
difference. It's the same thing with the burgers. Like, I'm sure a Boca burger, I haven't tried one in years, but I remember they used to taste like hockey pucks. I was like, well, no wonder no one wants to eat a
Yeah.
veggie burger. Go have an Impossible Burger.
A
They're
little
freaking
better. Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I went out to dinner when they first came out. I tried one. I was like, oh, it's so good. So I went with a bunch of friends. There was a restaurant, I forgot what town, Poughkeepsie or something.
Yeah.
We went to this one restaurant. We ate it, and I remember one friend, she took a bite first. She's like, "Don't eat it," and I was like, "What happened?" She's like, "It's beef. It's beef. It's not an Impossible Burger." I'm like, "No, it's an Impossible."
Yeah.
She's like, "This is like one of the best burgers I've ever had." I don't think it's. I think it's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, it's that good. It
Yeah.
literally." And she's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yes. Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think people will always say stuff, but again, it's the compassion, it's understanding, it's just like, it's having patience and just encouraging people and educating people, just like our friend the other day, like
right.
educating him. He was like, I never, it was just like, he was very open about, like, I didn't know that, but that was me too. Like, 6 years ago, I was eating chicken and fries and turkey and all of that 6 years ago. So
Right.
I was following the SAD diet, standard American diet. And then I was like, but then I started to educate myself, read books, and learn more. And again, it was the science and the evidence. And then I started to feel, I followed, it was like the vegan bodybuilder book. And I followed an entire week. And I was like, I felt so energized.
Yeah. It's
I was running like, and
like
it was
what's
during
going on?
COVID, like when I came, and I was running like 3 miles a day, come back, do a workout,
I know.
do a
It's
hit
like
workout that I had so much
get
energy.
all this stuff. What
That's
am I gonna do?
I had so
Clean.
much I had so much energy.
Cool.
And I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like I
Yeah.
had so much energy. I would shake at night because I'm like, I don't know what to do with all this energy. And it was such a transformation that like I think it was because there were certain foods I've never had before or tried different things. So that book really helped me like get into following a lifestyle because I am an athlete. Like I love lifting. I love working out, so following that helped. So speaking of working out, I think something we should pivot to, which is so interesting, guys. Um, is Stacy again, no injuries, no nothing. She's never had somebody in her class injured. So like talk to me about your routine because I had said I'll preface it with the other day I was like or whenever you went to your client's house I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like and you're like, "Oh, it's a 40-minute workout." I'm like, "Oh, does that include like the warm up and cool down?" And she was like, "Oh, we don't warm up or cool down." I was like, "Oh, what?" Like explain that to me. So go ahead and like where did
Yeah,
that come from? Why did you like talk to me why people, because people will warm up because they're like, oh, I want to warm up my muscles so I don't get an injury when I'm working out. So, like,
Right.
is there an appropriate time to warm up? What if it's super early in the morning, you're just getting out of bed, you're freezing? Like, what do you like? Talk me through like where that philosophy came from and what you did. Yeah.
I just started my classes when I first started my own program. I was like, I never have warmed up a day in my life. I'm like, I'm not going to have them
Like you
warm
just
up.
run. Like if you're doing a
Yeah,
marathon,
I
you
just
just
run.
start running.
Yeah, and
No hip stretches, no nothing.
no, nope, nothing. So with running, I also do negative splits, meaning I progressively get faster.
Hmm.
So it's almost like the first mile is a warm up
Yeah.
because, and even a 5K, I've won a ton of 5Ks, and I had a way I did it. I'm like, I would start and I would just make sure I kept first place in my sights, and then I quickly would catch up to her, quickly catch up to her until I saw her slow. There's something someone does where all of a sudden they're feeling tired because they went out too fast. And I'm like, now, and I go and as I think, they call it, I stole her soul because I just would go by
Yeah.
so fast. And I'd always say something nice like, come on, why don't you run with me? And they're
Yeah.
like, done. So it was almost like that first half mile was a warm up because I'm like, I'm not going all out. I'm just gonna take it easy.
Hmm.
But yeah, with my workouts, I don't have anyone warm up. We just get right into it. I actually had this conversation with my entire class the other day because I had a sub for one of my classes. I think it was maybe 6 months ago, and she was warming them up, and one of my clients got hurt during the warm up. She's like, "I've never been injured in your class. No warm up. We get a sub. She's warming us up. She had a hamstring injury, which she had for months."
I wonder why that is. Like is it like, because I've had clients that I'd go to their house and like if we did not take time, like I mean, I've never tried not warming up with a client, but she would be very like she'd come to the workout super tight and she's like, I just need like a little warm up, so we'll hop on the tread. And I'm like, okay, just walk on the tread for a few minutes and
Yeah.
then let's do a few arm circles and just get you a little bit warmer. And
Yeah.
then her body temperature would rise and she's like, okay, I'm ready for the workout. But I've never done like just cold turkey because usually like people come and they're like, and I don't know if it's also because vegan, not vegan, like what the food is, but they
Not
come
my
very
clients
like
or like the
tight.
classes, they're not vegan.
Yeah.
So, um, probably the only people I would warm up are sprinters because they're just doing these bursts and there is a risk of hamstring injury, but not even, it's only if someone's hamstrings are tight. But yeah, and then as
I'm
far
gonna
as
have to try that. Not warming up this week.
great.
I'm gonna go work out and not warm up.
We didn't warm up when we
Yeah,
did a
no, we
workout.
didn't.
You're fine.
No, it
Yeah.
was during the day. I felt like warm though during the day, but usually when I wake up in the morning, I just go to the gym,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna try not warming up.
Yeah,
I because
see.
I usually don't stretch like cool down.
Well,
I don't do a cool down stretch.
we don't stretch. No one stretches. We joke around. We're like, our cool down is because have to put all the equipment away because it's
Yeah,
so they're like, this is our cool down, and I'm like, yeah, it's perfect, great. Just
yeah,
put the equipment away. Yeah, everybody's have been doing it for my particular program, my exercise program that I run classes I've been doing since 2009, and no one's been injured and no warm up, no
yeah,
cool down. So it's just the way I've done it, and people
yeah.
also love it. They get in, we do the workout, they're done.
Yeah, it's so interesting, like what people see, because then there's going to be people who be like, how do you not warm up? How do you not stretch? This is injuries. But I also think there's a correlation between what you're eating
Hmm.
and how you're doing, because like you're a living example in your 50s, no injuries, no back pain, none of that.
No.
You're so on your feet all the time. Like you're physically active, like you're moving things around, you're bringing your equipment back and forth, so you could be at risk of injury. You're going up 3 flights of stairs with
That's
all
right.
your groceries, like no
Yeah.
elevator, moving in, you'll pick up your dog, like you pick up, I don't want to wake him up. But anyway,
He's
that's
55 pounds and I
that's
carry him.
yeah, she does. She like just
Yeah.
lifts him up and
And
it's super
then
simple. Kind of like a child. You pick
yeah,
up a
he
child.
likes to
So
sit on my
yeah.
he likes to be carried around. But yeah, and even like this past summer for my 53rd birthday and his fourth birthday, I said, we're going on a backpacking trip.
Yeah.
Never did a
Oh,
backpacking trip
yes.
before.
Explain that.
And so it was 32 miles over 11,000 feet of elevation. It was four pass loop in Maroon Bells, if anyone's
Yeah.
familiar with this spectacular, the most beautiful place you can go. But it's backpacking, like there's no store, you don't get to your car. I had to carry everything on my
Your
back.
tent or your sleeping gear, your food,
Food,
everything.
water, everything, emergency equipment, clothes,
Yeah.
pajamas, hat, glove, all the stuff. He has a backpack. I made him carry his own food because my, my pack was 35 pounds. I'm like,
So imagine 35 pounds now going uphill through the mountains, through
yeah.
wherever,
And
like,
the passes are all over 12,000 feet high. So
so just
you're,
going up and up and up with 35 pounds on the back,
yeah,
constantly, not stopping.
yeah. And then, so day one, we did 12 miles of that. And then you camp, which was like it was surreal because like I remember taking my first few steps and like this is it, just my dog and me
Yeah.
and this stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like we're on our own. This is it. Like
Yeah.
I don't have there's nothing. There's no so setting up the tent the first night I was like, all right, this is what we do. And we slept and then I think the next day it was 9 miles. So it was
It was a
significant. The
lot.
first day I
Yeah.
went over two passes. So I'd go up and over and then oh gosh, I think the second day was one pass, and then the last day was the final pass that you go up and over, and then you finish it out. But it was like, okay, this is it. Like I'm
Yeah.
carrying all this stuff. It was a workout. It was
And you
definitely a
had to
workout.
have your food, like you were saying, rationing, like PB&J sandwich, like half for you, half for JetBlue.
Yes,
Like
we share
that
our
was,
sandwiches.
yeah, like
Yeah.
those were things that you
And you have
had to be
to,
prepared.
yeah, exactly. And you have to, you don't want to run out of food, but
Yep.
there's also so much space you can have for food. So,
Yep.
so what's good is I know how to eat a minimal amount to have that amount of energy to
Yeah.
be able to do it because there's
You've
a lot of energy expended. I mean, like it
yeah.
is insane.
To lose,
So,
yeah, to lose weight on that kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I did. I think that when I lost 7 pounds, I usually lose a lot of weight on my adventures.
Yeah.
You just
Because you're not eating. I mean, even me being here, like on, I'm sure I lost because I'm not eating. I'm
we're
expending a
and we're
lot,
constant.
moving,
Yeah,
yeah, we're moving constantly.
right.
I'm not eating like my typical meals that I
Well, that's the
do
thing.
for,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always we did a 9 day trip out to the San Juan Mountains, and I came back. I don't know how I was like, man. I look at the scales, like, whoo, I'm down in weight a lot, just because you're just moving so much.
Yeah.
I'm the but the whole thing that's great is that I'm still eating enough nutrients to stay healthy
Yep.
and to have that
That's
energy.
that's the biggest
That's
thing.
the biggest thing. And it's again, this is all plant-based. Um, so it's kind of a neat thing that you can even say, oh, you can do all of this stuff and you're still I'm fine, healthy, I'm not getting sick,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, I lost some weight, but I mean
When was the last time you've been sick?
probably in my late 30s, maybe,
So
if that. I don't,
about over 15 years ago.
yeah, it may have been longer. I honestly, I'm not even sure. That's it. I can't even remember having a cold.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. It's diet. That was something when I was a singer for so many years. I remember my vocal coach, she was like, the week of your show, do not have any dairy, no milk, no pizza,
No
no
cheese,
nothing,
yeah.
no cheese, no dairy, because you will phlegm up and it'll be very hard.
Yeah.
You're gonna cough, you're gonna sound a lot of congestion here. And that was my vocal coach. She was not vegan, not
Mm.
anything. But a lot of people have a hard time letting go of like of these ideas. They're like, well, we've learned so long, like our grandparents did it and this, and I think
Right.
that's the thing. But also the food quality is a lot different than it was
Well,
now.
and
But
they're also putting it in so many, it's everywhere.
it's
Like
that's the thing.
if
Back
there's
then, I don't think I feel like it was one meal had that you had tons of veggies, tons of
yeah.
this, like
And it wasn't like cheese now. Like if you go even like these fast food restaurants, it's disgusting. They're just throwing cheese. like think even like pizza, like they have cheese stuffed crust now. It's like,
Yeah.
how much cheese are these people eating? And
Yeah.
I get it, it tastes good. I
It's
get it.
well, it's the addiction in it. It's
Right.
the addictive protein. That's
But
it.
it's insane. Like, the food is disgusting now. Like it's so
Yeah.
I can't even believe people eat half of the stuff. And I'm like, I think they think like, well, it's on the market. It can't be that bad for you. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, cigarettes are on the market too. They're pretty bad for you.
But that's, yeah, there's so many things. Well, I wanted to ask you though your thoughts on a lot of people have been coming out saying like, well, instead of regular beef, like
Hmm.
what about grass-fed beef? Like what is
Well,
like
yeah. Well, first of all, I tell them beef doesn't eat grass. It's actually an animal
yeah.
because I hate that
Yeah.
term. It's like grass-fed
Yeah.
beef. Like that doesn't make sense. It's a cow. See this dead, this beef is eating. It's just this big slob of meat eating.
I
Um,
know.
yeah. Well, and I think it's part of the whole. So I almost want to ask them, like, okay, this is you're having grass fed. What was the other one fed? That's not grass fed. They have no.
Grains?
They don't know. They're not going to be able to answer it. And
Well,
then
what was it? Grains? What was
I
that?
don't know. I have no idea what
I
they're
think
feeding
they feed
them.
it like grains, no?
I
Grains
I have
versus grass.
I have no idea. And
Yeah.
then
But
well,
they're still getting the dietary
but
cholesterol and
well,
stuff they
exactly.
find.
And then ask them, well, what's the why? Why do you want this first? Why? Okay, so if they answer grains, like, okay, well, what's wrong with grains? What's wrong with a
Yeah.
cow eating grains versus a cow eating grass?
They might say inflammatory properties because of gluten, but then I'm like, well, what else?
But what if they're eating
Yeah.
gluten-free grains?
Yeah, it's true.
We
That
don't know.
exists.
Do you know? Are they? Are they like horses eat oats, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's just like, but I try to lead them to the fact that they're believing in advertisement.
Yeah.
So like
It's a lot. Propaganda.
commercials and advertisements are there to sell a product.
They are.
So
They
let's
do
just
a dang
say,
good job at
let's
it.
say I want to sell mason jars,
Yeah.
right? On my commercial, we'll do a commercial about it. Hi, Julia, guess what I just got? These are the best kind of glasses you should get. You should always drink out of this because it's healthier for you
It's
than
glass.
drinking out of this.
Yeah.
This was not very healthy anymore. That's
It
out.
has metals,
That's
it
right. It
has
smells.
aluminum,
Now we're going to
toxins,
drink out of these
so if you could
glasses
see
and
it.
this and that. And let's just say I made this glass out of toxic
Yeah.
glass. I don't know if there's such
Yeah.
a thing. Just say there is. Like, but let's say there's a chemical in here that may kill you
You're not
over
going to
time.
promote it.
I'm not going to promote it. I'm going to tell you it's the best thing ever because it's an advertisement. So people don't realize that the beef industry advertises their food to try to sell it. That's all they care about.
Same with organic.
They don't, yeah, they
The
don't care
organic
about your
cows.
health. Right. They don't care about any of that. They want to sell you something.
Yeah.
So if people would just go back to basics of like, this is an industry trying to sell me something, so they're going to change the verbiage
Yeah.
to try to bamboozle me
Yeah.
into buying it. It's the same thing with any product anywhere. And and I think people, so like if we were gonna try to sell like Beyond Burgers, people would be mad about it because they're like, oh, it's not, but you're not mad about the beef industry changing telling you, oh, it's
Verbiage.
this and that. Same thing with eggs, like cage free chicken.
Because they're happy.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. But I
I
think
used to buy them. I used to buy
of
like
course.
organic cage-free
Yeah,
eggs, but
because
I
it
hate that
sounds
because
great.
it sounded good.
You put these words on these packages, it makes it sound great.
But is it because I think people are like, well, there's no antibiotics, no hormones in like the grass fed. That's like a lot of the argument. But I'm like, you're still getting dietary
They're
cholesterol.
still actually having antibiotics. They're just can be injected in. They're
Yeah.
not eating it.
Yeah.
They have to. You can't keep that many animals together and not have diseases. So they
Yeah.
have to have all of
It's
these other
true.
things.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not in their feed because they're eating grass. But I believe I'm pretty sure there's a percentage they don't have to all have grass. It can be like 80% and then there can
Yeah.
be other thing. It
It's all propaganda. It's all in the, well, that's even soy milk versus dairy.
where there's low to
The
no
Asian
low to
populations.
no breast cancer and cancer other types of cancers they don't consume any dairy
Yeah.
and they're eating tons of soy and it's like well how come they're okay
Yeah. But
it's
soy, I'm like, soy has great protein, great amino acid profile. And besides
it's
that, it's healthy for you.
I know
There's no saturated fat,
it's
no
so good
dietary
for you. I
cholesterol.
know.
And it's like, it does not have estrogen, it has a phytoestrogen. And I know I've talked about this on the podcast before. I think it's just like, it's all propaganda. And that's what I learned about that in a media class. I think it was in college or whatnot about media and
Yes,
how it really is
it's
everything is
right.
how is it promoted? Even what we were talking about, even crimes and things. Like we don't need to go into the people, but like back then, certain crimes, like just because the media quote this
Yes,
person as being a killer, yet maybe he wasn't, but the media wins. The
that's
media
right.
wins.
Yeah, and we were talking about that,
Yeah.
and there's one case in particular that I've done so much research on. I'm
Well,
like,
because I mean, you have a background in it and like you're
right.
very familiar with the,
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
the media said this guy was guilty, and there was pressure for the law enforcement and the DA, and someone was running for
to say that
re-election and
he
this and
was,
that. And I was
yeah,
like, okay. And they did. There's been a few. I know I can name probably five. I'm not going to go into it now, but because it's a whole other crime pad
yeah,
podcast. But there's five off hand I can think. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people didn't even commit this crime, but they're in. But it's media. It was
yeah,
the pressure from the media. But it's the same thing with these advertisements. Like it, people aren't realizing that someone's trying to sell you a product.
yeah.
They'll say anything to sell you this product. We've seen it. Listen, let's talk about the ab roller or that thing, right? Remember
Oh my
that
gosh,
stupid
yes.
thing? And
Even the squats, the butt formation.
all
Look
of
at the
it.
butts you get
But
from
those
doing this
were
thing.
the infomercials, right?
Yes.
And people are like, oh, if you do this ab roller every night for two
You'll get
weeks,
a
or
six
you
pack
get a six pack. And it's BS. There's you can't do that. So if you're telling me you've got a belly this big, you're gonna have a six pack, it's that machine.
by doing that. Yeah.
But that's what in fact, some of them got into trouble for it, but they advertise it as such
Yeah.
because they were trying to sell a product.
Yeah.
They'll lie to you to sell a product. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's always been
Or
that
they'll
way.
take one part of it or like one
Right.
thing that somebody said and they'll blow it up and it's like this is the
Exactly.
best thing ever or this is the worst thing ever. Like they'll do it too with putting labels on things that are bad. I think that's what it correct me if it's Beyond Burger that I think had to change their whole ingredient label because they were being sued for there was some sort of thing I was reading in the vegan news magazine
Mm-hmm.
that they were facing criticism because they had too many ingredients on their label and so they're trying to minimize the ingredients and I'm like, first of all, this wasn't even bad to begin with. It's just
Right.
people are like, oh my gosh, there's this in it and this and this. And it's like, I can't, I think we just got to go back to basics. But then there are people that are going to say all these things about like, no, we need a diversity of meat and all this stuff and blood types. Certain blood types crave meat, and everybody's going to have their own
Right.
argument over everything. So that's also, it's like, okay, well, how do we work with people like that? Either don't and or just educate where you can. But there are people who will say all these things like red meat helps save my life because of my blood type is O and red meat works better with O. And it's like,
It's funny. One of the things I ask people who say, "Well, I need meat, this and that,"
no, you need a nutrient, like
well, and then
vitamins that are
then they
making in there.
say, and we use every part of the animal and this and that, and I ask them this, and they don't like this. I'm like we kill thousands of dogs and cats in shelters a year. I don't even
Yeah,
that it's an astronomical
yeah,
amount, and then we burn their bodies. Why aren't you using every part of that animal? Why don't you use that? Why don't you eat that? Doesn't a dog have the same nutrients as a cow? Yes.
yeah.
They've got pretty fur. We can make some nice coats. They've got skin. We could have some cool leather couches out of these. And they're like, oh, we can't do that. I'm like, but you're wasting this animal. You've killed an animal, and then you're wasting the meat and the other parts of it. And they can't.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, and I have not found a meat eater who can answer it and tell me why that's okay.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, we go out and hunt, we use every part of the deer. I'm like, okay, again, we've killed,
Everything's classified.
yeah,
A dog and cat are pets.
right. But we're still
That's
killing them
yeah.
by the hundreds of thousands a year. Like
Yeah.
we're still killing so many of them. To me, I'm like, well, isn't that a waste? Like,
Yeah. Like,
and
why are they not being put up in food
right.
in the
Why
packaging
right,
and stuff?
why aren't we just taking them and slicing them up and putting them in a nice little package in the grocery store? Like, and it's like because we're killing them. So
God,
we're
it's
kill so it's like
euthanizing them, you know.
it's and in down south they have big gas chambers, they throw them in and that's how they kill them. I'm like, there you go, you got dinner for a week.
I know it's like it's true, and some people might not want to hear it, but that is like
But I don't
it's
understand
the
why it's
there.
like
This is the
we're
truth.
literally already killing them.
No, people
So
don't like to know that. I mean, we've
I
seen
know.
in our politics too, people do not want to know the truth.
No,
People
they
don't
don't
want
want
to
to know.
hear, they don't want to hear anything. They don't want it, like everybody just wants to be la di da da living in my own world. I don't want to hear the truth. I don't want to know. And that's like with that. But I try to explain, I try to start out like with these are beneficial nutrients. Like these are oh, and that's the thing with like people and steak. It's like, well, steak has so much iron. I'm like, lentils have more. It has
Yeah,
magnesium, it has fiber, it has all these things that, yeah, you put a steak and lentils together. Guess what one is going to give you more energy, more vitamins, more
right,
nutrients, has the same like amino acid profile. It's protein. You're going to get protein in your body, and your body's smart enough how to use it. And that's why
right.
people obsess over it and harp over it.
And
No.
it's cheaper.
And it is much, much cheaper. So if
Yeah,
you're talking about needing to save money and still meet all your goals,
right.
you'd want to eat more plant-based foods. It's just, it's not, people just think of like, oh, I want the burger, I want the vegan cheese, like it's going to be an arm and a leg and cost. And I'm like, no, it
No.
doesn't need to be. I know we've covered a lot. And for people that are just listening to this episode and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was going to get this deep. Well, welcome. It is an episode that got deep. So just to wrap it up, I'd love to hear like what is one piece of advice either you've been given or that you could give to somebody to help them, like if they're struggling with their health or struggling any aspect of their health, like mindset, physical, like what is one piece of advice you'd give to somebody on that journey that is struggling with any aspect of their health?
I think that well, with health, I think it's um we talked a lot about going plant-based and the fears of it is don't give in to those fears. But I think that's with everything with life, because even taking a risk of moving somewhere or quitting a job or like don't give in to those fears. Because a lot of people who are have this health problem, they're so afraid to make a lifestyle change. Like it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
too hard for me to do this. There's hard things in life, but they're worth it in the end.
Mm,
And when I look back at anything is like a hard choice that I've done, I have no regrets. And I think that's the big picture, is say like I'm not at the end of the day when I've done this and I've taken that leap, I'm gonna have no regrets. I'm gonna look back and be like, so glad I did
I did
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that goes for relationships. If you're in a bad relationship, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you're in a bad job, it's like what are you doing? If you're living somewhere you hate, what are you doing? If you're
Yeah.
eating and you feel horrible all the time, what are you doing? If you're unhealthy all the time, what are you doing? These things are fixable, but you have
Yeah.
to not give into the fear. And I think everybody, that's what happens is people give into the fear. And it's like, don't let fear win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that was well said. And I think a lot of people just think of like I'll wrap it up with this, like picture the person you love the most. How would you want to treat them, right? In this situation, would you want them to be eating unhealthy food, or would
Right.
you go buy them the healthy berries, the healthy fruits because you want them to have the best, because you
Right.
love them that much? So where's the disconnect with yourself? So well, thank you so much for taking the time
Thank you.
today.
This is
So
fun.
good.
Yes.
So thank you everybody for listening to Stacy. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next week. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to continue to get these episodes first thing, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and on Spotify under Best Life by You. If you're interested in working together, y'all can go ahead and visit bestlifebyyou.com/work with me, or go ahead and follow me on Instagram at NutriFitJulia. Send me a DM or just follow for more information, fun tips, and just a lot of humor. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's continue to live the best life by you.